Good evening, everyone. We welcome you all to this webinar on integrating science and art meaningfully for preparatory stage by Ms Ritika Bhandari. Ms Bhandari is an HOD chemistry at Guru Harkishan Public School, New Delhi. She's a resource person with CBSE and also a teacher trainer. A raconteur and podcast creator, she believes in integrating cross-culture with inquisitive approach by conducting workshops, webinars, and teacher trainings. She mentored students for science exhibitions, science symposiums, Olympiads, quizzes, and street plays to create a classroom atmosphere that is stimulating, encouraging, and adaptive to the very needs of students. She has handled various academic and administrative responsibilities, including those of student council advisor and interact advisor with Rotary 3011 Delhi. She's a recipient of Best Education Outreach 2021 Asia Pacific Excellence Award. So without any delay, ma'am, the stage is all yours. Please take the session forward.
Thank you very much, Sumit, for this warm welcome, and good evening and a warm welcome to all of you for this webinar of integrating science and art meaningfully for the preparatory stage. So I hope in these turbulent times all of you are safe and sound, and I'll start by asking you a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the trigger. As all of you can see, I just want, what do you observe from this? Before we start, just a small ice-breaking activity. What do you observe?
Just waiting for answers.
Yeah. Your observation regarding this as science teachers? Are we getting any answers, Srikanth?
So I'm just waiting for answers on Facebook. Yeah, we are just waiting for answers on Facebook. There's a bit of a lag on Facebook vis-a-vis streamer.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first answer here is that there are no boundaries for learning. That's what Geetika ma'am says.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Then Jaswinder ma'am says everyone is tied up. Children need to explore.
Great.
Then next answer is that it's teacher-centered. Learning is unstoppable. Creating mechanical machines.
Right.
And Charu ma'am on Zoom says children have no limits to imagination.
Yes. So we are science teachers. Are we just looking for grades, marks and tests, or we are looking for our children to explore the outside world, to explore what is in our environment, what is all around, because we are talking of preparatory stage. And this is a stage where we are actually looking for our children to explore everything. So I've got wonderful answers from all of you, and therefore art integration is required because the subject we are dealing with is a beautiful subject, what we call as environmental studies also in the preparatory stage. And as you people know, it is a beautiful blend of earth sciences, physical sciences, information technology, life science, social and cultural, then art, language, communication, beautiful blend it is. And we are taking care of this thing. So before going exactly into art integration, we really need to know what are the objectives of science teaching learning as teachers also. What is the objective? Any answers from you people? We are science teachers. What is our objective? What do we want? Any answers, Srikanth? Please let me know.
Yes, I'm looking for answers. Okay, develop scientific attitude.
Wonderful.
That's the first one. Then exploration in the current situation.
Very nice, very nice.
Then to develop the 21st century skills of students.
Sure, very nice. Yes. 21st century skills, we are looking for communication, culture. Yes. Wonderful answers, wonderful answers. So actually, if I talk of this subject, it's learning about the environment, learning through the environment, and learning for the environment. Now we have to look what is all around us. We have to learn through plants, through animals, through family, and we have to be sensitive about certain issues which are in our environment. We really want to promote curiosity and creativity in our students, because with scientific temperament, right from beginning, curiosity is essential. And if curiosity and creativity are blended together, then it's beautiful combination. Appreciation for diversity, diversity in culture, diversity in so many things, the flora, the fauna, everything around, and develop sensitivity towards elderly, towards, physically disabled, or maybe any kind of thing. So that is our objective as science teachers, right? And then my next question to all of you is, what are the learning outcomes? We are making lesson plans, right? So what are the learning outcomes as science teachers we are expecting? Anything which comes to your mind. And whenever you're planning a chapter or planning a topic, what learning outcome do you people think as science teachers should come up?
Yes. First is life skills. Then second one, Charamam says scientific temperament, developing and critical thinking, development of that, and also development of critical thinking.
Right.
Then trigger brainstorming among students.
Sure. Right. Wonderful answers.
And application, experimentation, observation, drawing,
Yes.
problem solving,
Yes.
manipulating apparatus, and so on.
Yes. So I don't have to say anything, they already know. Observation, reporting, discussion, expression, explanation, classification, questioning, analysis, experimentation, hands-on activities, concern for justice and equality, cooperation. Yes, these are the learning outcomes as science teachers. Because, if I'm going to integrate anything with my subject, I should be very clear about my learning outcomes. Unless and until I know my learning outcomes, it won't be of any use I'm integrating. So it has to be a very simple way of integrating where my learning outcomes are not compromised in any of the ways, right? Okay, so all of you know about art integration and art integrated learning. So basically, what is art integration? Art integration is when we are using any art form. Now that art form can be visual art, it could be performing art, any kind of art with my subject, so that the class becomes joyful, the session becomes interesting for the students, and they don't feel a burden. So that is the reason why a lot of stress has been given from past 2-3 years. We are seeing a lot of stresses there on art integration. And now with NEP 2020 coming up, we are actually looking for art integrated learning. We have art education, we have art integrated projects. But my focus today would be art integrated learning, where in your day-to-day topics, you are discussing with your students how we are going to implement that. So I'll be talking about a lot of activities in my session. So one thing is the ice-breaking activities. Now, ice-breaking activities is to bring children mentally to the classroom. Physically, they are present, or maybe online, they are in front of you. But are they mentally prepared for what you are delivering? So starting with small warm-ups, ice-breaking activities actually brings children to the classroom, to the topic actually. When I started with my first observation part, you people started thinking what that particular thing is. So, there were thousands of thoughts going on in your mind. But once you saw that, you were here, because here we are for this particular webinar. The same thing is with our topics. And after our ice-breaking activity, we move on to transdisciplinary projects, right? So we combine, we integrate, and what we want is cohesive understanding. So what are the steps? The steps include selection of topic. So we select a particular topic. That's the first thing. Then we have to create a creative inquiry, connection with real life, how you can integrate. That is a very, very important step. what exactly will blend with my topic so that understanding becomes easier for the students. They enjoy that process. Then reflection on the learning using that art form, because you have used that particular art form. Then you're going to assess student for your subject and for the art which is involved, and you can tell them to revise that. And finally, you will be assessing through certain rubrics. So these are the basic steps we follow when we talk of implementation of art integrated learning. So if I talk about, the ways by which we can do this, this is given on the CBSE site also, in the art integrated book also, okay, how to use. Now you can have role play, you can have videos, photography, art exhibitions, slide preparation, clay modeling, sketching, dance performance, theater, dramatics, whatever. I mean, there are n number of ways by which you can actually move on to art integration. So these are the various ways. And these are certain points which we actually need to keep, especially when we are talking of science. Real life experience, be contextual, and relate to real life experiences, because that's very, very important. A child should start thinking on relating around the environment. That's very important. And whatever activity we are choosing, that has to be, according to their age. So it should be age appropriate. It should be designed that all the senses are involved. So, sometimes we are moving for visual, sometimes we are moving for some performing arts. So all the senses involved should be there. We have to encourage children for the participation, especially in group activities. And it has to provide hands-on activities. When you're talking of experiential learning, hands-on activities are very, very important. Then we need to give them opportunity for sharing their experiences. So whatever they experience, let it be peer assessment. Let them share their work with their friends also. But that is required. And if we are using environmental objects and environment as a resource, I think that would be a wonderful way of integrating art and science, and give them freedom to express themselves. So whatever, I mean, they want to tell a story, they want to participate in a drama, they want to draw something, let them express. So these are the things which are required for art integration. So starting with the first activity, now I want answers from you people. What do you see, and where in science we can use this? So how we can use this particular thing, what actually comes to your mind when you see this, and how in science teaching I can use such visuals or such things? I want answers from you.
Yes, just waiting for answers. So I think Mac ma'am is said balancing.
Okay. Because everybody would have their own perspectives, right?
Yes. So that's first. So I'm just, okay, teamwork. Charu ma'am says teamwork. Then just waiting for answers on Facebook. Okay, habitat is what Manjri ma'am says.
Good.
Then types of lever, balance, in physics, coordination, equilibrium.
Right. Okay, something, does something strike your mind, some story, something?
Yes. Do your own work, don't depend on others. That's
okay.
one.
Okay.
And the next one is birds migrate.
Wow, that's wonderful.
And there's another thought, which is you can talk about ecosystem. So gravity is another thought that has been shared on Facebook.
So I just want to tell all the teachers who are connected with me today that this is a manuscript from 18th century, and this is a story from Panchatantra, right? I think all of you have heard this story, the cranes and the turtle, right? Yes?
Yes.
Right. So I want to introduce a topic, right? I'm teaching a topic, and the topic is about adaptations. Fine. And I introduce my topic with this visual, and then my students, because students will not move on to equilibrium at least, but yes, they will understand that this story we have heard, and when one of them is reciting that story, right? And in that story, birds can fly. So the turtle, asks them to take him along because turtles can't fly. So what is the adaptation in birds? How can they fly? Why they have streamlined body? Why turtles can't fly? Right? What kind of animals are turtles? What is their habitat, as one of them said? What is the habitat of cranes? They are migratory birds, right? So what happened? I started with a story, and in between the story, I taught them science also, because I talked about the turtle and I talked about the crane, and then I can tell my children to bring some stories where they have seen such kind of adaptations, or have they ever heard such kind of stories, right? Do you think it would be interesting or not?
Yes.
Right? So we can use such things in our classrooms to bring their attention to the classroom and make it more interesting, rather than, just opening the books and starting with that. Today we are starting with adaptations in animals. If we start with something like this, I think children will enjoy. Okay,
And also Kamakshi ma'am says it is relatable to real life.
Exactly.
And problem solving techniques also can be imbibed through this.
Yeah, so it's just not my subject. You can tell so many other things, and you can develop so many other things with such kind of activities in classroom. So I hope you'll like these examples. So the next visual is for you.
Let's think together.
Yeah,
okay.
Let's think together. So if I'm showing this visual to my class 3-4 students, what answers am I getting from them?
Okay.
I want to
So
teach
Kamakshi ma'am says food groups.
Very nice.
On Facebook, we are getting more answers. It is 5 food group. Then nutrition, balanced diet. Then food pyramid and balanced diet. 4 types, productive, energy giving types of food, and so on and so forth. Eat well plate, health and food. A lot of answers.
Yeah. So yes, you people are correct. Balanced diet, types of foods. I mean, we're talking about carbohydrates.
Components and sources of food.
Yeah, carbohydrates, proteins, and vitamins, minerals. And then what else? Can it be a multidisciplinary thing? Something else apart from science I'm teaching them?
Okay. So right now, I think the perspective is all about science. If we get answers that are beyond science.
Okay. Any answers?
Charu says 360 degrees. That's mathematics, perhaps. I think we can also see mathematics in terms of fractions.
Yes. This is what I was looking
Pie
for.
chart.
Right. Pie chart. We can explain fractions. We can explain decimals. We can explain percentage. And main thing is that when they visualize, what is the portion of candies and what's the portion of the fruits? What you want your children to eat, junk food or eat a balanced diet? This would help them to understand, right? And yes, with mathematics, wonderfully you can combine such things. Another interesting visual. Tell me, which chapter can I relate it with? This is an acrylic painting. I found it and I thought I'll share it with you.
Yes. So environment, dispersal, these are the topics. Adaptation on birds, and then healthy food, different components of food, shades of green, a lot of answers. Food habitat, food chain.
Okay, and the what you can see inside the beak, that's the main focus.
There's a berry or a nut? What is that?
Yeah, they are the seeds. Actually, when we are talking about
seeds.
Seed dispersal, there are various ways by which seed dispersal. And animals and birds are one of the examples. So now how I'm integrating, I have taught that chapter, I have given them this visual, right? Can I tell them to write a story after this particular seed falls on the soil, how it grows into a plant? Can they write a story? Can they narrate a story? Or maybe, something like a diary entry of a seed. Language is also art. We are teaching language through this. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So
And Yogita ma'am says fractal geometry in nature.
perfect answers. So we have lots and lots of activities. I'll be talking about few activities. The one of them is touch and find. Now these for tiny tots we can actually use. And they would love to, play this. And in doing that particular process, they will learn about animals, especially, or birds. So we have sandpaper cutouts of animals and birds. And we just give it to them, blindfold them. And by touching, they have to identify, right? Now, what is the vision after this is that if they have identified the right ones, maybe it is a fish. So why you thought it was a fish? So they will come up with some answers. The body was streamlined, or for a camel, they may say it was a hump on their body, which helped them to identify why it was a cat, why it was a penguin, whatever. So at least that thinking process will start. So they will enjoy and they will understand various animals, various birds. You can even use it for plants also. So such toys are very, very interesting for students to learn a lot about plants, animals, birds. So we can use these activities in our classrooms. The second activity is just very similar to what we play tambola, right? So this is called bingo, where a teacher provides slips to the students, and these slips have got certain boxes. Those boxes, now according to your topic, I have just taken up few animals, but it's all up to you. Whatever topic you are teaching, you can fill these slips and give it to students, and they will be different. I mean, arrangement would be different as it is in tambola, right? And then what you're just reading out the names, and children will start ticking. Now what will happen? The one who completes the whole slip will shout bingo, and he or she is the winner. Now at that moment, whatever was the last word, we can have discussion on that, right? Let us take, it was water cycle, and you have taken evaporation, condensation, and all such. Because what happens in every chapter, we have certain key words. We want our children to remember those. Those particular words are belonging to that particular chapter. So after the chapter is over, if I am using
Ma'am, I think we've lost you. Hello.
these kind of activities for formative assessment. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. We lost you for a few seconds.
Okay. Shall I start again?
Yes, ma'am. You could.
Okay. So I was talking about this particular activity, bingo, which is very similar to what we call as tambola, right? So we have some slips given to our students, and a teacher can make boxes and just write down important words, keywords from that particular chapter, or maybe the animals or the plants or whatever you want your formative assessment to be of. You can just use those words. A teacher will provide these slips, and she'll start with the words, right? And children will start, crossing after they get that particular word. Now what happens is, once a child wins, that particular word we can start talking about. We can discuss, okay, if it was photosynthesis, what is photosynthesis? If it was evaporation, what was evaporation? So for after completing the chapter, if you're using such activities, children will be actually understanding what is going around, because we are revising the keywords which we had done in that particular chapter. Now what happens when they're listening, their observational skills, their listening skills, they get improved, and it's just like a game for them. And then we have discussions. So they would love to participate in such activities. So this can be done. I hope I'm clear now.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. Now the next activity is clay modeling. Now this is, a wonderful, wonderful activity, especially at the preparatory stage, where we can give them clay materials and they can, use their sensory motor actions to prepare animals, plants, and so many other things. Here, as you can see, children have prepared teeth, right? So if I'm teaching a particular topic like this, and children are actually using their hands and making, they will understand. And then, we can actually relate carnivorous animals, incisors, what kind of teeth they have, what kind of teeth we have. We have got 4 types of teeth. Why the shape is different? One we are using for biting, the ones we are using for chewing. So they will understand because they have made it themselves. So they're happy to use clay and come up with something. The other example I have shown is part of earth. So it's core, crust, mantle. So when they're making, they're coloring and they're coming up with visuals, they're very happy doing that. And in doing that process, when a teacher is monitoring, he or she can actually tell the students the science behind what all is happening around. So it would be just a playway method of introducing your topics, and then we can move on further for our learning outcomes. So this is one method. Now, the next one is hot seating, a very interesting way where, you can give a hot seat to one of the child. He and she actually must know why are they being interviewed. So it's like an interview. There may be some people who are asking them questions and they are on the hot seat, and then relate it with your topic. Like I have given example, interview of Mr. Lungs or interview of Miss Earth. So, Miss Earth is sitting, and even in online classes also we can use these kind of activities because children will be very happy to, get themselves on the hot seat and then answer their queries. So if somebody is Miss Earth, we can ask, how you're feeling when you are polluted, or what do you think is the cause of pollution? How man is actually creating pollution? Before that, how were your feelings? So this kind of interactions, these kind of dialogues, they will actually remember. So no need to going just through books, but doing such small activities in classroom, they actually enjoy. So this is again a wonderful way of, revising whatever you have taught, or just checking the previous knowledge also before starting a topic. So according to your topics, according to what you want to take a character like, you can take any planet, you can take any animal, organ, anything, and then they can have this kind of activities. Now, another very important activity is, when they are going, observing and collecting some material which is around. Now, if you look at the kids this age, what they are doing is they're just, yes, because of Corona and all that, they are at home, but otherwise also they are mostly stuck up to their laptops, PCs, mobile phones, video games, not observing the nature, right? But we want them to observe what is all around, maybe going to a garden, maybe going to a park nearby and collecting something and bringing it to the class. Now, what happens when children go and observe and then bring something, maybe, collecting some leaves, even from the school playground? They will find different shapes. They will find why they are different when they're going for some tourist places also. Maybe some hilly areas, the type of leaves are different. When they're going to places where there are beaches, the leaves are different. Let them observe. So such kind of activities are very good. If the teacher tells the students to collect those materials, bring it to the classroom, and she has a beautiful tree drawn in the class, and children can come and taste those leaves. They have a sense of belongingness, okay. And when that visual is ready, no, then they can bring some cutouts of some animals, some small insects and other things which stay on trees. So what will happen? They will have an understanding that, okay, these are the animals, these are the plants, these are the insects which are living on the trees. They can make burrows, they can make a nest as they want, and they will have understanding of all the things around. And then their observational skills will also increase. Next time when they're going to the park, they can relate something. Okay, these kind of leaves my friend brought. Okay, what type did I get? So all these kind of activities actually enhance their observational skills. Now, this is again a wonderful activity where we want to teach about the leaf, right? So what is the basic structure of the leaf? We want to label the parts. Maybe it's the midrib, it's a petiole or whatever. So what children are doing is they're just taking leaves and using different kind of papers, maybe tracing papers or parchment papers, and they're using different mediums like crayons, pencils and all, and they are making these leaf rubbings. Now, what happens when they come up with such artistic things? We can tell them to use it for making greeting cards or some, something to beautify their classrooms. They will actually enjoy. And after making this, if I'm teaching them that these are the veins on the leaf, or this is the petiole, this is the midrib and everything, they will actually understand the structure of leaf very well. So just engaging them in small activities like this. Okay, so whatever we had done was more of visual, right? Now, storytelling, role play, drama, theater activities, again, wonderful examples, because art integration with these are like, children are so happy, so excited. Let me tell you, drama and theater, they are potential catharsis. And, when they perform, it is good for all type of learners, whether you're talking of visual learners, whether you're talking about auditory learners, all kind of learners, kinesthetic learners, they love to participate. And, it's just not your science, so many other things. I mean, they touch the emotion, building sympathy, empathy, love, courage, happiness. So this is what I wanted to show. It affects 3H, head, heart, and hands, right? So I just want to ask if you people are using drama and theater activities in your classrooms. Are you people using? And if you're using, let's discuss few examples.
Yeah. So we've got two options over here. So I'm just looking for answers.
No worries, no worries.
Not necessary? Okay, fine. Thank you.
If somebody has answered, it's well, otherwise I'll move on. If they are using?
Yeah, they are using. So on Facebook, we get a lot of teachers who say they are using.
They are using?
Yes.
Any examples?
And yes, so we have Charu ma'am who says role modeling.
Okay.
Then we have on Facebook, Shweta ma'am who says using it for measurements. Okay. Role play for digestion processes.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And pollution.
Right.
Yes.
So have you ever felt that teaching your lessons through storytelling or drama, has it affected their learning process? Yes, no, just, I mean, have you ever tried these and found actually that yes, our children are performing better? They have deep understanding of the subject just because they did this particular activity? Do you think, I mean, I really want yes, no answer.
Yes. So we are getting answers, ma'am. Chara ma'am says better learning. It aids in better learning and better understanding of a concept. Then on Facebook, yes, most of them say yes. All of them, in fact, say yes.
Yes.
Role plays to help save plants and sensitize them on environment. Yes, ma'am, they are more focused. They understand the topic much better. And Yogita ma'am, Ravinder ma'am says students learn and involve, they enjoy. Yogita ma'am says feeling of involvement and self-learning is always observed.
Right. So it's actually scientifically proven that, using these techniques in classroom actually enhances understanding of students. And the reason is there are certain hormones which are released. So it's scientifically proven. The brain places us inside the story. Just think, when we are watching movie or we are watching a web series, we are also into it. So if children are actually, having those theater activities or role play, as you people said, and then some topic is being taught through that method, what will happen? They will actually enjoy that topic. And the ones who are not even performing, when they see others performing, just like one of the teachers said, digestive system. So yes, if somebody is behaving like stomach or small intestine or large intestine, what is happening? They have understood what exactly is happening here. Where are they placed? Because there are dialogues, they are talking to each other. So it is very easy for the students to use these kind of activities and have a better learning process. So whenever you are making a storyline for your drama, there is a suggestion to keep these 3 points. I mean, I can have one more session on storytelling, but just a small part I wanted to share it with you. Keep a character, keep a conflict, and keep a conclusion. When your story will have these 3 parts, there's something called as cliffhangers. Children will be actually focused what is happening. They will be interested what is happening around. So make such stories, share it with your students, tell them to narrate some stories. Start with a story, give them something, now what will happen? Believe me, their thinking process will be enhanced. They will come up with thousands of ideas, and you'll not believe that sometimes even you'll be shocked to hear what type of understanding these students have. So if we are using the storytelling and drama in our science classrooms, I'm just giving you one example. Let us take example of photosynthesis, right? So there's something called as image theater and freeze frames. So in that, let one child perform like a person who is cooking food as human beings, and the other child may perform as a plant preparing food using raw materials, sunlight, right? So don't tell what is happening around, just tell them to behave like this and let others see what is happening around. And then you ask, is there any similarity between them? Is there any difference? Can we prepare foods like plants can prepare in sunlight? Let them think, let them come up with answers, and believe me, they will have better understanding. So such stories, if we are building and we are using it in our classrooms, children actually enjoy. So I hope after this session, please try such things in your classroom and you will actually see the results. So one way of using performing arts is narrative pantomimes. Wonderful way where the students are telling a story and they are drawing out actions, emotions, and sensory details. So they're not speaking, but with their performance, with their actions, they are explaining. Just believe me, I have seen one where children are behaving as tadpoles converting into frogs. Can we use it in such way, right? Or maybe, a life cycle of a silk moth, converting from one stage to another, maybe a larva, caterpillar or something, just through their hands and their movements, they are showing. They will actually love to have such kind of activities in their classrooms. Try doing them. There are a number of videos on YouTube available. Just see few and start in your classrooms. This kind of integration they would actually enjoy. Then we can move on to puppets. Again, children love puppets. Sometimes their favorite cartoon characters, their favorite comic characters, we can use them as communication aid. And, if you want to sensitize students for environmental issues, water conservation, tree plantation, and say no to polybags or something like that, just, through puppets, just using stick figures also, or just making puppets out of their socks and beautifying them and using them in classrooms. Even in your online classrooms, give them this work to come up with such puppets and play a story related to your topic. They will come up and they'll be very happy because science won't be a burden for them. And believe me, don't make science as a subject, make it as a skill. Let them observe, let them enjoy, let them understand. So this kind of thing would actually help in building a lot of love for science. So after all these activities, I'm just sharing some lesson plans. This is a very common topic. That's why I have taken water, because in many of our grades, we are using this particular topic. So I'll be sharing some activities. Maybe you people are using some activities and we can share, right? So with small kids, we can ask the children to draw a picture of an activity that they did using water and one activity they did without water. Let them think. Let them draw, right? Drawing, whatever. I mean, it should not be a very beautiful thing coming out, whatever comes to their mind. See, whatever they draw, that is again with a purpose. So let them draw. And then that reflection is very important. So, they can share their work with their peers and just tell what you have seen, what you have made, what your friends have made, discuss with them. So this would bring a creative expression. Then again, storytelling. Ask children to narrate their personal experience, how they and their family members use water. So what will happen? They'll just give a thought how we are using water at our home, and then they will narrate that in a form of a story, right? Ask students to describe their experience about use of water observed by them during journey from home to school. Let them observe how many people they have seen using water. In what form were they using water? Why they were using water? How much water was being used? Even the numerical values also, right? And then you can tell the children to collect stories, poems, songs related to conservation of water. So once students are, singing those songs or poems, and they actually get sensitized, they understand that we should not waste water. And next time when they will see some, leaky taps or something, at least these things will come to their mind, because this was being discussed in the class in a different way. So here's a sample poem. I'm sharing it with you. So when, children are actually using their actions, drip, 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 it's not a good sound. If you let it go on, soon no water will be found. So when children are actually using their actions and they're reciting these poems, they actually get the idea that we should not waste water. And then, they'll talk to their parents also. This is what we are looking for. So such things in our lesson plans are very, very important. Right, another observation for you. So before asking the children, I would like to ask you people, what do you see? Because, visual are a very good source for activities in science, and, they actually children enjoy these activities. So what do you see in this? Any answers?
Water harvesting is what Kamakshi ma'am says. Just waiting for more answers. Rainwater harvesting, again, all of them on Facebook also.
Yeah. Rainwater harvesting. So what do you think? Your children will, reflect. What kind of questions you should put when you're showing these kind of visuals?
Yes.
Do you see in the picture why the house have a sloping roof? They should know why it has a sloping roof. Where is the rainwater going? Where is it being collected, right? So such questions actually enhance their understanding. So having discussions with such kind of pictures in classroom, I think that would be a better way of making them understand rather than the usual way through the textbook. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now next is draw what you hear. Now here, you are telling a story let them visualize, and let them draw. So here what you are doing is that you are narrating a story and children are carefully listening to you and they are drawing out whatever comes to their mind. So Rupa is a little girl. She lives in one of the villages in desert area. They get water supply only 2 days in a week, right? What I have told is that she belongs from a desert area. So children will, start thinking, what have they seen or what have they heard about deserts, right? Maybe camels, maybe sand, maybe something else which comes to their mind. Let them draw, right? Then you have told a story that because water scarcity is there, so Rupa is not wasting water. So what she is doing is that she is sitting on a charpoy and taking a bath with a tub below to hold water, right? And then Rupa is using that tub of water to wash clothes. And then water is used to mop the floor and wash the drain, right? We have told the story. What reflection, what kind of answers are you expecting from your students when you have told the story? Told them to draw. I mean, just ask them, are you using water this way at your place? Do you think we should use water judiciously or not? What will be their reflection? I want some answers from you.
Yeah, so Mac Ma'am says they will learn to use water sparingly. Hina Ma'am says how to save water or reuse.
Right.
It'll make students more innovative and creative. Case study type of questions.
Exactly.
These are. And Kamakshi Ma'am says, won't the water be dirty? So her question is, won't the water be dirty? So what if, yes.
Exactly. See, some of the children will say that we are not living in such a place. Why should we do this thing, right? Why should we reuse dirty water? There may be, different kind of perspectives, but we really need to understand what they think and then what we want them to think about, right? So do you think such activities will help them to understand the topic and sensitize them? Because these are the things we really need to inculcate as habits right from the beginning. So using such activities will actually sensitize them throughout their life. And that is what we are looking for.
Exactly.
Right? So this is an activity bag from this water where we can have a number of activities, depending upon they are from which grades. Maybe, asking the children to enact in small group a day when there was no water supply in the house. So let them enact when there was no water, without water, how they spent the whole day, right? Then asking the children to make paper boats and float them in water, very simple activity, but they would love to do this. With help of an adult, identifying any 5 dishes made using water and 5 dishes without using water, and then circle only those dishes which are cooked using water, and then writing down the recipe of that, right? So what is happening? A lot of language, a lot of communication. These skills are also being enhanced, just not your science. So when we're talking of holistic development, we're talking of 360-degree development, such activities will actually help students to understand, right? So it's just not English. I mean, they can write it in Hindi. They can write it in the local language if you're taking them for that also. It's just correlating. And for primary classes, I would always suggest that whenever you're taking topics and planning your lessons, it's better that other teachers taking other subjects, they also come up and you people decide, so that there is no, different compartment. It should be like a blend where if you are teaching something related to water, maybe a Hindi or an English teacher is also taking some lesson which is related with water. Maybe in maths, some questions are formed related with water, so that a child feels as if in every class, this particular topic is being covered. This is called multidisciplinary approach. And a lot of emphasis is being given for this kind of approach in NAP 2020. So if we are planning our lessons this way, I think children will actually enjoy and learn thoroughly. So this is one of my suggestions. So there are, many activities. They can make grids and, circle them, word grids and circle them. They can make a rainwater gauge, anything. I mean, it's up to you. What kind of activities you want your students to do. There are a number of activities and they can easily understand. So that was about water. Any inputs from teachers if they want to add on certain activities related to the previous one, then moving on to the next lesson plan?
Yes, I mean, ma'am, to be very frank, you should be there on Facebook to see the number of thoughts and suggestions teachers are, putting in there. And yeah, and the beauty here is that almost all the teachers are in unison suggesting that, we can do more activities and not just limit to these activities. Yes.
These are, just few examples. And I mean, you all are thorough with your subject. Depending upon what type of students you have, try doing those activities. And believe me, it's just not the learning process for them enjoyable. It would be a, teaching process for us also to be enjoyable. We would love to participate in all such activities. So it's just not that, yes, we are just doing because CBSE is suggesting, but I think it should be a part and parcel of our teaching process. Right. So moving on to the next lesson plan, that's family. Again, a very simple thing I have taken, and that's picture drawing. Very simple. You want to start with this topic. So tell the children to bring class photograph. Their families, maybe they can draw picture of the family members, and then you can discuss. You can tell them to role play as their favorite family member. Ask the children to, behave like their mother or father, brother, sister, whatever, through mime. One group will mime while the other group will guess. So such games in class, they really enjoy. And when the other group performs, they will appreciate their expressions and gestures. So let them participate. Actually, I love a lot of storytelling and drama activities. So that's the reason why you will find more examples from this kind of thing. And after the role play, you can display pictures of different kinds of families, maybe joint family or a nuclear family, extended families. And then they are discussing the similarities, what are the differences. So what happens when children are actually discussing amongst themselves, they're seeing each other, they learn a lot. So again, we have a bag of activity for this particular topic also. Sensitize them, it's Mother's Day. Let's make a greeting card for my mother, right? Or maybe some other family member, maybe some festivals. So let them make that thing. Just playing game like I sent a letter to my mother. Whatever way you want to take it, your science through it, let them play that. Right? Ask the children to make a family circle, ask the children to make a face in the center, and then, that face is the child. Then there are many circles which show faces of brothers, sisters, cousins. Then another circles making parents, uncles, aunts, then grandparents, granduncles, grandaunts, and that would come out like a solar system with sun in the middle and, the whole family around. They would enjoy doing all these things. And then they will have understanding, the bonding in family, what they learn from each other, what role every member has in the family. So all such kind of things can be done. There are n number of activities we can use and we can actually make our classrooms very good. So finally, I just want to tell you how should a science classroom look like. Flexible seating, not sitting in rows. Give them space to perform, give them space to run around, give them space to dance. I have not included dance activities. They love to dance. Maybe, behaving like planets, behaving like some plants or something like that. Revolution, rotation, everything. So give them that flexible seating plans. Have games, have puzzles, have displays, artifacts, films, posters, charts, costume, puppets. So whatever you want, your activities, Make your classroom like that. So if all such things are included, automatically a beautiful integration of science and art has happened. And believe me, science plus art is a magic. Once we integrate these two, actually we are getting wonderful results. So yes, after we have done those activities, we have to form some rubrics accordingly, but there are certain points which we have to keep in our mind before assessing our students. So I just want to quickly talk about the do's and the don'ts. So appreciate every child and recognize his or her effort. That's very, very important. The most important one is assess the process, not the product. So maybe the visual was not very beautiful. It's okay. The child enjoyed making that visual. That is more important. Your concept became clear because of that activity. That is more important. So please, again and again, I mean, this is the most important thing. Assess the process, not the product. Provide constructive feedback, no negative comments. Give qualitative and encouraging remarks. Equal opportunity to all the students. Respect the pace of learners. See, all of them have different qualities. And even in activities, you will see some of them love drawing and painting. Some of them love performing. So, every child is unique. Don't compare them. Ask open-ended questions. Give them space for writing, talking, drawing, and creating. Display original, unedited work, right? Even if it is incomplete, it's okay. Let them submit that. Refer to the classroom displays during teaching learning process. Compare the child's progress to his or her own earlier performance and not with others. So even, without using these activities and after using these activities, that you can compare, right? Or maybe throughout the year how the child is doing, but don't compare each other. Every child is unique. They have got their own beauties. So this is to be kept in mind whenever we are creating rubrics. And don'ts: do not comment on the artistic quality of representation. Do not compare artwork of one student with another. And do not arrive to the classroom with preconceived notions, right? So if these things we are keeping in mind while assessing our students, I think they will give wonderful, wonderful results. These are the sources which I have used. So you can always, go for AIL guidelines, Nishtha training package, and many other sources are there from which I have picked these activities. And finally, thank you so much. So if there are any questions, we can discuss.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful, for these wonderful insights for the to the teachers. I'm just waiting for questions. Yeah. So, ma'am, yes. Let me, while we get the questions, let me just share some thoughts. Monali ma'am says, yes, while teaching the skeletal system, we use different songs showing different movements, and they had to identify the bones involved, and
Yes.
the students loved doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. This is how we share. This is a platform where actually we all can come up together and we can share our thoughts. Anybody else?
Yes. A lot of thoughts. One second. Yeah. Drawing of rainbow and different members of members representing different colors and in unison showing the rainbow.
Okay.
So I think that is about the family. Finger puppets to show family members.
Yes.
And we also have certain thoughts over here. So Charuman says, okay, learners gain sensitivity and awareness of various things, and water can be reused after it is treated. So that is also there. And she says family tree can be made, and then when they display there, happens the exchange of knowledge and thus deeper learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
These were few examples, Srikant. They can design number of activities, and believe me, once we start putting in thoughts, so many ideas come up.
Yes, and hands-on experiments using kitchen materials, because this is a pandemic situation where most of us are at home, and therefore I think kitchen is one place for students to do.
Exactly. In the next session, actually, I'm using that because this was for primary. So for the senior ones, actually, we are using the materials from kitchen also. A lot of material from kitchen.
Okay. And this is, I think, what Anupama ma'am says. She says, while discussing various components of food, I made a song and also prepared a healthy soup. Okay. Yeah. So we compare parts, body parts with part of a plant. Can that be done? Yes.
Yes, some parts can be done, but not much. But some parts can be done, not all, because their mechanism, because they are autotrophs, we are heterotrophs. Can't compare, but yes, to smaller students, sometimes when we say, the kitchen of the cell and this kind of thing.
Yes. And also there is another interesting thought. What about, recycling and using the wastewater that drops out of an AC?
Yeah, I can see AC water can be used to water the plants. Yeah, this is what we actually want to sensitize our students at that early age. So that they understand why this is important. It's not we are imposing on them, they understand on their own. And that's why I say using those puppets and stories and drama activities actually sensitizes them a lot. They understand better. And then sometimes, my teacher told me not to do this, don't waste water. They'll tell their parents also not to waste water.
Yeah.
So such kind of things.
So thanks a lot, ma'am, for a wonderful session. Ritika, ma'am, looking forward for your next session. Is what many teachers are saying.
Sure.
And lots of thoughts being shared on Facebook over here. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. It was wonderful interacting with you all and getting wonderful answers from everybody. So it was really a nice interaction.
Yes. Ma'am, there is one question if you'd like to take.
Sure.
It is from Ms. Honey. She says, ma'am, please suggest activities for slow learners, the children who always keep silent while virtual classes are happening. So if you could.
Yeah, see, if children are not very much involved in performing art kind of activities, they are not very much coming up with drama or something like that, and they are slow paced, in that case, just, observe that child. Maybe they can draw very well. Maybe they can do something, in music or something like that. Use that particular skill. I'm giving you an example from that Amir Khan's movie, where the child was not able to understand what the teachers were there, but his observation, around the environment and then drawing and painting was his art. So can we use such things, whatever the child likes, and you can have some different activities for these students. Maybe they don't want to mix up. Sometimes, they are watching what is being happening around, but they are not very keen in participating. But if you ask them to draw that particular thing or tell you what happened, maybe not in front of all the students, they're happy to share their thoughts. So we have to create a bonding, first of all, a bonding with such students, so that whatever comes to their mind, at least they share with their teachers or with their peers. So that's again a very, very important thing.
Yeah, a wonderful example from a very inspiring movie, Tare Zameen Par, which brought in forefront, I think, dyslexia.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much for your thoughts, ma'am. And also to all the teachers, whosoever is looking forward for the feedback form, we've shared the feedback form both on Zoom as well as on Facebook. So please help us with your feedback. Thank you so much, and wish you all a safe time ahead, and also a happy evening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.